What up, guys? Welcome back to Very Hairy Media. Today we're talking about Avengers Age of Ultron. It's been out for a couple weeks, so hopefully you've got a chance to watch it. If you haven't, well, I'd suggest go watch it. If you enjoy superhero movies, you should enjoy it. If you enjoy good movies, you'll still enjoy it. So let's talk about it. So Avengers Age of Ultron picks up after Iron Man 3, after Thor 2, and after Captain America 2. And, they're all back together again. They're all fighting. They're all doing this, that, and the other thing, and it's really cool. And then, something happens. Tony Stark's like, why don't we create this artificial intelligent being called Ultron? Why don't we do this so we, the Avengers, don't always have to be out there fighting and, actually have some downtime? Good idea in theory, right? But not so fast. He creates this artificial intelligent being, and basically when he creates him, Ultron gets this idea in his head that, okay, the only way I can save the world is to destroy the world. Yeah, genocide. You know what I'm talking about. Seen it before, but it's still pretty cool. So now, basically, the Avengers have to take down Ultron, and this, that, and the other thing happens, and havoc wreaks, and we have our movie. I will say, for the most part, this was a really good movie. It still had great action. It still had hilarious dialogue, great humor. The characters, you still love the characters. You love Iron Man for who he is. You love Captain America who he is. I love seeing them clash. It's just so funny. And you have Thor. He's still awesome. You have Hawkeye. You have this really cool expansion of his story. And if you haven't seen it, I won't spoil it for you. But you really see more of his character. And he's more fleshed out as a character. Because if you remember in the first one, he kind of had his mind warped for half of it. So you didn't really get to know him. But this, you really get to know his character, and it's really awesome. And then, of course, you have Black Widow, who still continues to surprise me. I remember back during Iron Man 2, and she was just kind of a hot character, and she's like, okay, you're cool, but I don't really know anything about you. After then you had Avengers, then you had Captain America 2, and now you have this, and you just keep getting all this stuff about her, and it's really awesome. And then, of course, you have Hulk, still awesome to watch. Mark Ruffalo still kills it as Hulk. It's so cool. Obviously, Avengers 2 and Joss Whedon both had really big shoes to fit. I mean, first of all, their first Avengers movie was a big gamble. Like, how good is it going to be? And it turned out to be probably as good as it could have been. And it was a really great movie. This one, it tried to up the ante. And in some ways it did. Others, it kind of fell flat a little bit. So when I was going into this movie, I knew in advance that Joss Whedon's original cut of this film was apparently 3.5 hours long. Yeah, that's a long Marvel film. And as I was watching it, I was looking like, okay, I kind of see how this is kind of choppy, and it's kind of fast, and they're getting to from point A to point B a little quicker than they should, and yeah, I see why it should have been longer. And that was my one beef with the movie. I mean, it wasn't that the story was too convoluted, which a lot of people did think it was. I actually thought the story was really good. The problem was it needed to be longer. Apparently, Joss Whedon did say that, on Blu-ray there's going to be an extended edition that I think will make it feel a lot smoother and a lot better. However, that doesn't make the story not good. The story was actually really fascinating and really interesting. Another thing, I wouldn't call this a beef. However, I think this is one of the first Marvel movies that you need to actually be kind of in tune with some of the lore to really understand it. I mean, you have that one guy, Vision, or I guess he's more like a synthetic android or whatever the heck he is, who was kind of a cool character, but you're kind of like, okay, I don't really know who this is. I feel like if I'd read comics, I might have understood more. Even so, he was cool, and I'm not saying that's a beef. I'm just saying if you're not familiar with the comics or some of the Marvel cinematic lore, you might be a little lost, which I kind of was. That being said, though, I really think this is a really good movie, and it's a really good sequel to the first one. It had a lot of things that made it really interesting and made it a little different than the predecessor. Sure, it had a lot of similar things. It had similar action. It had similar humor. But it added other elements that made it a worthy sequel. It added upon things. And it's also adding up to really some really cooler movies. You got Civil War coming, and then, of course, you have Thanos at the end, so you got Infinity Wars coming. So there's still some really cool stuff coming. You do have to wonder, though. I mean, Infinity Wars is supposed to be like the biggest of the biggest. You're going to have the Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy, which is insane. And if you look at this movie is already going through the roof with, like, crazy action and destruction and explosion. I mean, I really don't know how they're going to up the ante. That being said, I'm still really excited about Civil War. I'm excited to see what they do with Infinity War. I really dug this movie. I'll totally buy it on Blu-ray when it comes out. Was it as good as the first one? Was it equally entertaining? I'd say just about as so. And those of you who think it's a little convoluted, okay, that's your opinion. But for me personally, I had a really good time with the movie. I want to go see it again, and I probably will. So with all that being said, I am going to give Avengers Age of Ultron a solid 4 out of 5 star rating. It was good, wasn't perfect, still a lot of fun. I'd strongly suggest going to see it. I'm Harry at Very Harry Media. I hope you enjoyed this one, and there are more reviews to come. See you later.